Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by InsideEdge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. MosserMomentsPhotography.com, a proud sponsor of the InsideEdge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to Fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams.
And welcome in, everybody, to the Cavaliers Game 4 postgame here on the InsideEdge Network. Chad, Bryan to my right, your right. Autumn here in the middle, and I am Eli Moon. We are rocking and rolling as the Cavs have put a smile on our face here in Cleveland tonight. We can breathe a little easy knowing that the series is 2-2. Everybody take a deep breath. Feeling good, feeling good. The Cavs do defeat the Detroit Pistons tonight in Game 4. Final score 112-103. And the Cavaliers giving some new life into this series, heading down 2-0 after two tough games in Detroit. Left a lot of Cavs fans and us here at the InsideEdge Network wondering where the team's grit and toughness was. But after a Game 3 that we had to kind of go down to the wire there. A few timely shots by James Harden. Never really in question tonight. The Pistons really just struggled in that second half mightily against the Cavaliers. Before we get into all of that, I'll ask the fine people here with me on the InsideEdge Network. We'll ask how we're doing. Autumn, we'll start with you. How are you doing tonight? And now after a Cavaliers Game 4 victory.
I'm okay. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted because why are these games going so late? Like, why? This is the second time a Cavaliers victory has gone to almost 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I don't even know how we're going to, if we get to the finals, I don't even know how we're going to do a West Coast game because this is going to be awful. Awful.
Yeah. Well, that is the goal, to get to the finals. So we may see some later games at 9, 10 o'clock, which means we'd be on a little later with you. Don't know what that means for midnight run with Anthony Alford, maybe 1 a.m. run, but we'll keep an eye on all that. Of course, he'll follow us at midnight. But yes, Chad and Autumn and I here with you for the next hour and a half or so. We'll pivot here to InsideEdge Primetime, a very abbreviated version for a half hour. So we'll talk, who knows, by that time. Chad and I will flip a coin and we'll talk about it then. But Chad, how are you doing, my bud? Cavaliers Game 4, we were hitting the panic alarm, finding any alarm we could hit after those first two games. How are you feeling after these last two in Cleveland?
Well, pretty good. I mean, but you said it, these last two in Cleveland, right? Now we got to go back to Detroit. So They're still gonna have to play better on the road, right? I mean, this feels good, right? It's 2-2. It's just it feels like I don't know. We could have left Detroit 1-1, and we'd look at this. We'd be up 3-1 right now. We'd be feeling a lot better. But I feel pretty good. I'm glad they tied the series. It was great to see Donovan Mitchell make something of the second half. We had a rough first half. James Harden started quick. I feel pretty good, man. These were the things you wanted to see, right? You wanted to see these guys kind of fill in where the other may drop off a little, and they finally did that tonight. So that's one small thing that makes me feel pretty good. Feel pretty good.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. I think this was much needed, these two games in Cleveland. Clearly, I mean, Donovan Mitchell with his best game of the playoffs tonight. I believe he finished with 43. I'm just fact checking myself here. But yes, 43, 13 of 26 from the floor. Not significantly great from three, but you'll take 4 or 12 from three when you score 43 points. James Harden with 11 assists. I just think this was such an impressive game by the backcourt of the Cavaliers. Of course, Evan Mobley had a better game, 17 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, and 5 blocks. So that's what you're looking for. We've had discussions about Evan Mobley here on this network about what is he going to be, what is he, and we're at the point now where I think we just had to accept, if he is going to be a part of this future, that this is what he's going to be at his best. A game like tonight where he's going to impact defensively, like I said, 3 steals, 5 blocks, and offensively give you 15, 17 points a night. I think that's what you're going to accept. And it's okay to have those kinds of games when Donovan Mitchell and James Harden are doing what they're doing. My question, however, and I'll start with you, Autumn, is are we going to see some resemblance of this offensive outpour from the Cavaliers in Detroit? Because we talked about Evan Mobley, and that's why I bring him up. We've talked about Jared Allen. Are they going to be able to put together a performance that wins a game in Detroit? It just seems when they get to Detroit, Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, these guys really bully them down low. What are your thoughts going back to Game 5 in Detroit?
Well, I kind of think of what happened in Toronto, right? Same thing happened when the Toronto series, except we were up 2-0. Toronto tied 2-2 when we went to Toronto. And I remember, was it game 6? That was the last minute game.
Yep.
Where the Cavs were not really in control, then they settled in, then they got big. Well, they got up decent, and then the game was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And honestly, if Toronto doesn't hit that last minute shot, the Cavs win that series handedly. We don't have to go to 7. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, coming home, I was like, oh, they're going to win, because I knew I had faith in them. And I think going into Detroit, I think these last 2 games, and I'm also going to go back to something that Kenny Atkinson said. He said that last year they didn't have any sort of like tests. They swept the first round, and then they got to the second round, and it wasn't a test. And I think this last series definitely tested them, and this series has 100% tested them. So I think going into Detroit, they definitely can build off of this. I think they will. I don't think they're gonna let them bully them. I think what they saw in Cleveland, especially that third quarter, to go on a 26-0 run to start the third quarter was huge. And the fact that they kept it consistent throughout the entirety of the third and fourth quarter is something I think they can build off of. I have faith.
Yeah. Well, hey, we're going to need a little bit of faith. Absolutely. We're going to need those guys that have the same offensive outpour. Excuse me. Chad, I mean, does this encourage you? I know you were kind of half glass empty tonight, which is very unlike you, pal. So I don't know what what you had for breakfast. If it wasn't your Wheaties or whatever you were eating, but
something was in there. It tasted weird. I don't know what that was all about.
Well, we'll have to check into that. But I mean, like Detroit, Cavaliers are going into Detroit. I mean, do you feel like they can carry this momentum? Same question to you. Do you think they can bring what they just did in Cleveland, especially tonight, back into Detroit?
Yeah, listen, I hope they can. I mean, they're going to have to prove it, right? They're going to have to go show that they can do it before you feel good about it. I mean, if they go win and they prove that they can win in Detroit, then great. If they lose another game on the road, come back and win, it goes to Game 7, you're going to feel pretty rough going into that Game 7 in Detroit. You know what I mean? So like I said to you guys before the show started, just before, because I had some power issues, just got in the nick of time, just got here. They're going to have to win a game for me to feel a lot better. It's going to have to. It can't come down to Game 7. They just haven't played well on the road. And I mean, they really didn't play that well in the first half. James Harden kind of kept them alive, right? He came out on fire tonight. So it's going to take something like that. Somebody's going to have to catch fire on the road. I was thinking about, if Sam Merrill, one of the role players, right? Sam Merrill battling the hamstring injury, comes out and hits a couple of big threes, and just he does all the little things right? He gets his hand in passing lanes. He just he's always in the right spot. It's like Max Strus, getting his hands again, busy hands. I thought the whole team did a good job of that tonight, but somebody they're going to have to get that type of play from a role player, but amplified right on the road to really go into Detroit and win and make me feel a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, they're going to have to prove it. I hope they can, Eli. In autumn, I hope so, but we'll see.
Yeah, and you almost wonder, right? Like, where's Jalen Tyson's minutes? And I'm going to continue to exclaim it here every time I get on air on the Inside Edge Network and we're talking Cavaliers, because I truly think he's a difference maker. And I don't know. I'm not there every day. Obviously, Kenny Atkinson's there in practice, and there may be a reason why. Maybe he feels the matchup isn't the best for Jalen Tyson, but 8 minutes and I scored 1 point. I just wonder, going back to Detroit, sure, maybe this is the plan in Cleveland and it just made sense, but you almost wonder going into a road environment, and you mentioned those role players, Chad, they're going to have to step up. And I feel like a guy who has that grittiness, that he's going to be able to check Cade Cunningham. He's going to be able to check Tobias Harris. He's going to be able to check almost anybody from the 1 through 3 in the lineup, right? I feel like Jalen Tyson could add a lot of value going back to Detroit, but somebody's going to have to step up, whether it is Sam Merrill, like you said, nursing the injury, but one of our best 3-point shooters, whether there's going to be a Dennis Schroeder game. I mean, we have seen a few of those in the Cavaliers postseason run so far. Somebody's going to have to step up, because Detroit's not going to have as much trouble shooting the basketball when they have, I wanted to say the Palace of Auburn Hills, but when they have Detroit behind them, it's going to be interesting, guys. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. And I wonder, who is it going to be that steps up? Autumn, I mean, if you were to just take a guess, and we won't hold it to you. We'll definitely not clip this for game 5.
Oh yeah, we're clipping it. It's going all over.
But who would you say?
Okay.
Who would you say needs to step up for game 5? Out of the role players, who would you expect to step up that hasn't maybe so far?
Honestly, for this playoffs, I think everybody's been pretty decent. I think you probably got to get either a Max Strus or a Dean Wade kind of game out there. Max Strus has actually been pretty consistent this playoffs. I know some people don't really like him. My co-host on Mike Check Take 2, David. But I think this playoffs he's been pretty consistent. I say him or Dean Wade. Dean Wade, sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. I know in Toronto, he was at one point the second leading scorer in one of those games. And so we've had these role player games, but I thought, my personal opinion, I thought that we needed a clear front to back James and Donovan game. And I think this was the first time we got the James and Donovan game. Yeah. I'm glad it was a tie. It was a tie. I'm glad it was a game to tie. I'm so glad it was not a game to get us back within force a game 7. I'm so glad. But maybe Dean Wade and Max Strus, they have to either one of those. More leaning towards Max Strus because that $14 million a year contract.
Yeah. And Max Strus was the big grab there at the end of game 3. He jumped up in the area and snatched the ball, took it to the other end of the floor. I mean, some big plays
the
by
season.
Yeah,
literally.
Absolutely. And I agree with you, Autumn. I mean, Strus has had some moments, and we'd love to see another one. But Dean Wade's interesting. I'm glad you brought him up. Chad, you think of Dean Wade, and you think of a guy that I get Kyle Korver flashbacks, and Dean Wade is nowhere near the Kyle Korver-esque shooter.
But down like that, my goodness, yeah.
But they both remind me, of each other in a way. Kyle Korver during that 2018 NBA playoff run was having a lot of struggles hitting the knockdown corner 3, which is what we brought him in for. Yeah. Dean Wade really, a lot of times when he's in position, is in that corner to hit a knockdown 3, and a lot of times he has struggled to knock that 3 down, which turns into a quick fast break or on the run opportunity for Detroit or Toronto last round.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Kenny Atkinson, you're going back to game 5, you're going to Detroit. You've seen a few different lineups with those two guys Autumn mentioned. Max Strus being in the starting lineup, Dean Wade being in the starting lineup. Who would get the nod in your opinion? If you're Kenny Atkinson, you got the clipboard, you're doing the thing. Who would get the nod in game 5? Would it be Dean Wade or would it be Max Strus? Or would you maybe get a little unconventional and put somebody else in there?
That's a really good question. And I was thinking about that tonight. I was watching Dean Wade, And I thought, man, it seems like Wade is in the playoffs. He's being asked to defend a little more, right? So maybe that's why the shot's not there. I don't know why, but sometimes guys have a hard time doing both, right? You're giving all the effort on the defensive end of the court and all the intensity, and it's hard to go. It's hard to switch gears that fast sometimes and just go out there and be that catch and shoot type of guy when you're playing intense, right? It's like everything's tighter, everything's more urgent or whatever. So I think sometimes your shot gets a little rushed, maybe when you play like that. I don't know. But I think maybe you start Dean Wade for the defensive aspect because he's doing a pretty good job of, again, another guy that can defend a lot of different guys. You can use him against Cade Cunningham. He's got the size, he's got the athleticism to be able to do that. So, and Cunningham's not overly athletic, so he can stay with him. And then maybe bring Max Strus off the bench and hope he can go nuclear. Remember when he came back from the foot injury and he was like 9 of 10 or whatever from the 3-point line? It was like, okay, Strus is back. Like, dang, man.
Yeah.
And I know it's not easy to come back and get your legs under you. He's still working through that. I mean, think about, like, he is right now where guys normally are in game like 25 of the regular season, right? He's still getting his legs under him. So he could still have one of the. I mean, again, you mentioned the grab on the inbounds. I mean, that was a great play. And he's made a couple of defensive plays like that where he reaches in and grabs whatever. He's got good hands, right? Busy hands. If he can come off the bench and catch fire like that, and one of these road games, maybe the Cavaliers can finally win a playoff road game. But it's going to take something like that. So I would start Wade, maybe bring Strus in for the shooting. Whatever, just fresh legs. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it'd be interesting. And Kenny Atkinson has a big decision, and something both of you have brought up. Can the Cavaliers win on the road? We've taken a sigh of relief for at least an evening. Cavs will be back in action not too long. Right? So we're gonna have to get right back after it, and we'll have Cavs post game here on the Inside Edge Network, of course. Game 5, Wednesday, May 13th. So, of course, we'll have some post-game for you here on the Inside Edge Network. Talk a lot more details about that. And we are planning now for a Game 6, something we weren't really necessarily ready for, but we are planning for a Game 6 now, which is exciting.
Yes. For a bit, man. Yeah.
Yes. A Game 6 home game. So that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. I wanted to bring up one thing. And I specifically want to target the Knicks because if you go into the game thread about tonight's game on X right now, like, how they do the game summary or like the topic summary, there are Knicks fans that are like, are we rooting for this series to go long? Because remember, the Boston series went long. Look at what we did to Philly. I just want to say this to Knicks fans. That series went 4 games because Joel Embiid was not in that series. Period. Point blank.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting, in Philadelphia making it that far. Obviously, shocked a lot of people. Jason Tatum, missing Game 7 for Boston. A lot of variables there too on him. Yeah, you bring up a good point, and I'm glad you brought that up because when we come back here on the Inside Edge Network for the Cavaliers Game 4 post game, we're going to talk about those New York Knicks. They do advance against Philadelphia. They are the first team to punch their ticket to the conference finals for either conference. We'll see if OKC can wrap it up here with the Lakers tonight. And that'll be a big discussion with LeBron James if they are able to finish up. We'll talk about a lot of that in the coming weeks, but we'll talk about those New York Knicks when we come back here. What that means, if we believe in the rust and rest type discussion, and we'll talk about this Cavaliers Pistons series more because before we look too far ahead, we are heading back to the Motor City. So, of course, we'll talk about all that here. Thank you for being with us. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow all the great stuff here at Inside Edge Net. That's on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or X, Instagram, and TikTok. All the great stuff. Make sure you give us a follow, like, subscribe, all the good stuff so you stay locked in. Autumn obviously has Jersey Chasers with Christy. That is on Wednesday at 7:30. And then, of course, Chad and I with you weeknights, 10 to 11 p.m. here at Inside Edge Net. That's at InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Then where you can go to the great QR code above Chad, and that sends you to the partners page. You saw from Fanatics. You have seen from some of our great sponsors, Mosser Moments. And, of course, later on, you'll see from W Energy, AlleyRoseFragrances.com, and SportsMemorabilia.com. So many great partners, and we appreciate them. We appreciate you for being with us and choosing us for your Cavaliers postgame. So with that being said, that's Chad Bryan on my right, Autumn in the middle. I'm Eli Moon. This is the Inside Edge Network, and we're back talking more Cavs, Pistons, and so much more after this.
Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Midnight Run, 5 days a week. Thank you guys for joining us for Midnight Run. Coming up on Monday at midnight, we react to Game 4 of Cavaliers and Pistons. Will it still be a series, or are we going to be in a funeral? I hope not. Hopefully the Cavs can pick up some victories over the weekend. We got that coming up, as well as all the top stories for the upcoming week. And also, don't look now, the NFL schedule is on its way out. It will be released this week. We'll talk about it. A lot of big news, a lot of big stories coming up on Midnight Run tonight, or whenever you're watching this weekend. We don't have a weekend show. Boy, I told you, I'm all over the place. Monday through Friday at midnight to 1, right here on the Inside Edge Network. Now it's time for me to go to bed.
And welcome back to the Inside Edge Network. This is Cavaliers Game 4 post-game reaction as they defeat the Detroit Pistons tonight. 112-103. They tie the series up 2-2. And of course, we are back with you. Chad Bryan over to my right, which would mean he's over to your right. And of course, Autumn in the middle. I'm Eli Moon. We are back rocking and rolling with you. Doing post-game till about 11:30, and then Chad and I with an abbreviated primetime edition. We will not be talking chicken sandwiches or burgers or anything like that tonight.
I want to say this. Can I say this?
No.
Your
Of course,
list
yes.
was egregious. I
Mine?
saw that reel. That list was egregious.
Wait, which
How
one? The
can
chicken
you-
sandwiches or the
Wait, the
burger?
chicken sandwich one.
Okay.
How
okay.
can you not have the Popeye chicken sandwich on that list?
Okay, to be
I
fair,
saw
I haven't had Popeyes,
KFC. Oh my God, you are missing the greatest chicken sandwich
but
out there.
I've had it now.
And he didn't think it was that good, Autumn. Autumn, he said
Oh,
it
that's
was
not what I said.
okay.
Nah, get outta
He
here.
said it was
You're
okay.
stirring up trouble, Eli.
Let me tell you, I saw that reel and I was like, this list is egregious. I knew that Chick-fil-A sandwich was going to be number one. I knew it. I knew it. As soon as you said the greatest, I was like, he's going to say Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is number two. Chick-fil-A is number two. Number one is Popeyes.
All right. Well, hey, you know what? I'm glad my list snuck right under the radar, Chad. You, however, you're in trouble. You're in trouble with everybody.
this is egregious.
Yeah, that's
Did
a
I
common
see-
theme.
Wait. Did I see Arby's on that list too?
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, thank God. I was like, I'm like, oh my God. And then I would be like,
They do
okay,
have
you
a
need to
pretty
go to
good chicken bacon
prison.
and Swiss, though. They do.
Chad, stop. All right. We're going to pivot here before Autumn.
Honey
absolutely
mustard on
reaches
that.
to- She's going to reach to the screen and grab Chad and just take some sense into him about his chicken sandwich list. But
It would probably do me some good.
No.
here we go. We are going to talk more Cavaliers here before Chad gets in trouble. Of course, if you're enjoying this conversation and all of our Cavs talk and everything else in between, make sure you give us a like, subscribe, follow Inside Edge Net on all the socials. We appreciate you being with us and choosing us as Cleveland's digital leader, your source for sports, entertainment, mental health conversations, news, and everything in between. And if you're loving all of our personalities, well, go read about us and all the personalities on the Inside Edge Network on the personalities page. Check out the shop and get some great merch. If you missed Unfiltered with Kyle Cornell, go check out the Inside Edge Net socials. Me and him made a bet earlier today regarding the shop and my hair. We'll keep an eye on that. And then, of course, our great partners. You've heard from W Energy. You've heard from Alley Rose Fragrances. You've heard from Mossner Moments Fanatics. You've heard from all the great sponsors. You hear throughout the night and sportsmemorabilia.com. All of our great partners. We appreciate them. We appreciate you. for being with us. So go check out Inside Edge Net on the socials, InsideEdgeNetwork.com. All right, folks. Autumn, you brought up a very good point before we went to break, and I wanted to revisit that. The New York Knicks did advance. They swept the Philadelphia 76ers. They are in the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll await, obviously, this Cavaliers-Pistons series to see who gets there, and it'll be in at least another 2 games. So at least a 6-game series between these 2 teams. I wanted to ask you because, these fans, you said in Reddit, I believe, or the threads, they're all going off about
X. X.
Okay, thank you. On X, they are going off about just the the Cavs Pistons series should have go longer, and about the Sixers series, and those are all good discussions, and it makes me think of this question, which has been discussed a little bit between different outlets and whatnot. I'll bring it here. If the Knicks right now are sitting there, they're probably chilling somewhere nice in New York City, wherever, and they're thinking, okay, this Cavs Pistons series now has to go 6, it may go 7. I'll start with you, Chad, on this one. Do you feel like it's more of a rest versus rusting? Is this going to be where the Knicks are sitting out too long and they're going to be rusty going into a series against the Cavs and Pistons, who are going to go at least 6 after a 7-game series for both of them? Or do you think they're going to be able to get the rest they need to be able to come out and take care of them? Because we've seen it happen, especially with the Cavaliers postseason before, where Golden State, let's look at all those finals runs. I get it, different teams, but the mindset still kind of works where the Golden State Warriors would sit there and wait for the Cavaliers sometimes, and then they'd come in and take care of business game 1, but then there's the other side. So is this more going to be a rest benefit for the Knicks or a rust, problem for the Knicks?
That's the age-old adage. You don't know until you see it. I mean, the Knicks were 25 of 44 from the three-point line in that game 4 against the Sixers. And, I mean, you would have to think that, like, some of that is – I mean, they're still putting up shots every day, right? But it's different when you're out there in a game and you've got people closing out. I know they have the coaches with the brooms, whatever. It's fine. But, it's got to be a little bit different in the game. We talk about it all the time in baseball, right? The team that gets the bye in the first round versus the teams that duke it out in the wild card. The team's always coming out of the wild card series kind of hot, kind of on fire, right? They've been like they're battle tested. They're ready to play. Baseball's a little bit different than basketball. I think you can take a couple of days off in basketball and still get your rhythm shooting wise. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think it benefits the Knicks a lot to have the Cavs and Pistons beat each other up for 7 games. It's going to feel like 9 games by the time the series is over, physically to them, maybe to us too. I don't know if watching it, but I mean, I think it benefits the Knicks. Yeah, sure.
Now, Autumn, you think about this for the Pistons and the Cavaliers. The Pistons haven't been to an Eastern Conference Finals in quite some time. Cavaliers have not been to an Eastern Conference Finals in quite some time. A little bit longer for the Detroit Pistons. Now, do you think, because I'll kind of play, what they say, devil's advocate here. This would be a very monumental run for either the Cavaliers or the Pistons to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, considering they haven't been there in quite some time. Do you think that momentum carries them into where it could not benefit the Knicks, and they get a very hungry team that's maybe looking to get into that finals position, riding on that momentum, that wave of something that they have not been able to do in years past?
Yeah, so I'm thinking about this. The Pistons haven't been to the Eastern Conference Finals since 2007, correct?
Right. Yep. A lot longer.
Since LeBron. Wow, that's crazy. LeBron is literally still playing basketball, and they haven't been back, and he's literally, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So the Pistons, and they also lost in 6 games to the Cavs. That's crazy. That's a nuts thing. And the Cavs, of course, the last playoff Eastern Conference Finals they made was in 2018 with LeBron. I had to work that. That was an insane run that he made too. I'm just gonna say, I think it's a little bit more about battle tests, because think about this: both the Cavs and the Pistons went 7 games in their first series. Now this next series that they're playing is going to go at least 6 games. So both teams knows what it takes to come from behind and win. Both teams know what it takes to have a blowout win. They know what it takes to overcome. The Knicks had one series where they lost, and they were very Knicks-esque, and they haven't really been tested since. I mean, in the game 6 win against Atlanta, they won by like 50. And then this past game, they won by a lot as well. And I'm just going to say this. I would rather take the team that's been fighting the entire time, whether it's the Cavs or the Pistons, than a team that's kind of like skated through a little bit to be like, okay, now we're here. And it's like, but do you know how to win in a pressure situation when it's down to the wire and you're in the finals? Maybe not. Because none of the Knicks guys have been to a finals or an Eastern Conference Finals. No, they went last year. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, but you're right about the finals. You're right, and that's the big
Yeah.
thing. You know, this is a big postseason for the New York Knicks too, because the chatter the Cavaliers have been hearing is the same chatter the New York Knicks have been hearing.
Yeah,
Can
they
you
killed
get
those
to a
nerds.
Yeah. Well, the Knicks is a little bit different because they gave up all those picks from Mikal Bridges, which is still a crazy thing from Mikal Bridges.
Yes.
But honestly, I just don't understand why Knicks fans are talking. Like, please stop. Please stop. The Cavs have been there more recently than you guys. Like, they have a championship more recently. Hell, the Pistons have a championship more recently than the Knicks. The Knicks have not won since my mom was born.
Wow. Well, your mom's got to be what, like 38, right?
My mom's 54. The Knicks haven't won since she was a baby.
But right now, you think about the Knicks, they're not worried about the Cavs. They feel like they're the Cavs bullies. Like they have to feel like if it's the Cavs this series, then and I'm not saying it's right, but they got to feel like, we're not worried about those guys. We'll beat them in 5 again. That's you know?
Yeah, but it's kind of like the Cavs are kind of like their Raptors of like it's the Cavs. But at the same time, you got to think about it. Last time they faced the Cavs in the playoffs, the Cavs were injured. First time they faced the Cavs in the playoffs, Donovan, I don't know what happened in that series. I don't know what happened to Evan Mobley in that series. That was just a weird series. Yeah. But you're dealing with a whole different team because now the Cavs have a veteran who's been to the Eastern Conference Finals, who's lost in the Eastern Conference Finals, and who's also won to go to an NBA Finals to play an albatross of a team like the Miami Heat that James Harden did in his first year. So I'm not really worried. I say that. I'm sitting here and saying I'm not really worried about the Knicks because they're going to do something that's going to show that they're the Knicks. I always have faith that they're going to do that. They're going to show that they're the Knicks, but I just don't like that they're just like, okay, so let's see who's going to beat each other up. Let's see who's going to win. And I'm like, do not carry that attitude into the playoffs. I've seen it several times to several teams who carry that attitude. Hell, that Golden State team 10 years ago, they carried that attitude into the playoffs of like, who's going to face us? And they almost lost in 7 games in the Western Conference Finals. And then they lose in the finals because they didn't take it as seriously. So I'm like,
I did get that feeling from that team as well. You're right.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. That's a good point, Autumn. So, well, we'll keep an eye on those New York Knicks. We'll keep an eye on this Cavaliers-Pistons series.
Real quick, just to finish up the Knicks, I feel the other way. I feel like they're going to be the first team to score 200 in a game. Like
oh no,
they're scoring is so
Mike Brown is their coach. Mike Brown's going to find a way to do something. Like,
oh my goodness. Well, we'll
these
keep an eye on those
Cavs everywhere, man.
Absolutely. We'll keep an eye on those New York Knicks. We'll keep an eye on the Cavs Pistons, and we'll talk Cavs Pistons when we come back. We're almost up against it with you till 11:30 for Cavs postgame, and then we're gonna let Autumn get to bed because she got stuff to do.
I have to work in the morning.
She's very busy, very busy. We appreciate her gracing us with her presence here for the last 45 or 35 minutes or so. We'll get another 5 or 10, and then we will let her get on her way. We'll talk primetime action, Chad and I, and get you ready for double Anthony Alford. It's not brewing yet, but very soon we'll hear that coffee machine brewing, and that's when you know it's almost time for Midnight Run with Anthony Alford. So we'll take a quick pause here. When we come back, I'm going to ask both of these fine people, Chad and Autumn, what Game 4 keys to victory are, or excuse me, Game 5 keys to victory. We already know Game 4.
It's like, I already know. I know.
I'm pretty sure we watched it.
Listen here, folks. All right. Sometimes it gets a
hard
little
to
late
get
for
off
me
to a
too.
fast start, and Donovan Mitchell, he's got to have a big second half. Let's watch the game.
And with that being said, we'll talk Game 5, keys to victory, Cavs Pistons, when we come back here on the Inside Edge Network. That's Chad. That's Autumn. I'm Eli. We're back right after this.
Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to sportsmemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. Sportsmemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Discover our collection of handcrafted candles. That's right, every product is thoughtfully created in small batches free from harmful toxins for mindful everyday indulgence. Our candles are hand-poured in coconut soy wax with natural wood wicks, offering a long-lasting burn and rich fragrances. Create a cozy, safe ambiance for your home with candles from Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers use the promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network.
Obviously to help ourselves, and I'll start there. But, ever since we came to Cleveland, the whistle has changed. There's no way that one guy on their team shoots more free throws than our team. We're not a settle team. We're not a jump shooting team. We drive the ball, attack the paint. So what was done out there tonight, it's frustrating. But, we can't allow that to be the reason why, because we didn't play well enough and play to the best of our capabilities. But again, you look at the foul count, you look at the disparity, and that's hard to overcome. And you wonder, the reason why. It's interesting, since Kenny made his comments publicly about, us, the whistle's changed in this series.
And welcome back to the Inside Edge Network. Cavaliers Game 4 post-game show. Man, what a day. Cavs tie the series up 2-2. They win over the Detroit Pistons 112-103. And you heard JB Bickerstaff, the coach of the Detroit Pistons. We had to play the music because there was just too much crying going on. Chad, Bryan to my right, you're right. Autumn there in the middle. And I am Eli Moon. And my goodness, JB Bickerstaff. Buddy, it's going to be okay. I know it. I know. You didn't get the calls tonight. It's okay, bud. Autumn, we were talking a little bit, to pull the curtain back, we were talking a little bit about JB Bickerstaff before post game. That was regular season JB Bickerstaff right there. That was regular season into first round JB Bickerstaff here in Cleveland. Let me rephrase myself. That was, I don't know what to do now that everything's not going my way and that the stars of the Cavaliers have seemingly woke up. James Harden, not necessarily the craziest stat line in Game 3, but some timely buckets, and Donovan Mitchell going full nuclear tonight. Maybe Mr. Bickerstaff, Coach Bickerstaff, is concerned a little bit. Autumn, what do you think about those comments from JB Bickerstaff, the coach of the Detroit Pistons?
I think that JB will always JB. And JB Bickerstaff, while he was here, I'm forever grateful for his time here because he did sort of get the Cavs from a weird transitional period into a playoff team. He has to take responsibility. There is no way you can sit there and complain about fouls when your team was outscored 26-0. Yeah. There's no way. There's no way you can come out of a third quarter and be like, you know what the problem was in that third quarter? It was the fact that the Cavs were getting fouls. No, no, that's not how that works. No, your team got decimated. Your defense got decimated. It's okay to say, you know what, we didn't play our best game tonight. You know, they had a better game. Donovan is a great player. You know, he had an all-time game, literally an all-time game. You can just say that and just say, oh, and then we have to just go back we have to do the work. But instead you come out and you say, you know what, it's the refs. The refs are the reason why. And look, I will never defend an NBA ref. NBA refs are terrible. I think they are awful. I think they missed so many calls, and the Cavs have gotten no calls this series. I mean, literally, there was a whole game where Jared Allen was called for a flagrant one when he clearly got a flagrant one called on him. So I'm not a ref sympathizer at all, but you cannot say that the refs is the reason why you lost. You lost because your team stopped playing defense. You lost because you could not control an outpouring from Donovan Mitchell. Just say you lost and just keep it moving.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, Chad, what did you think of JB's comments there after the game 4 loss for the Pistons?
I mean, look, there was a free throw discrepancy, and this is the NBA now, right? If you're the head coach, you got to say something publicly. So when it comes back to Game 5, the officials go, well, you know, let's not forget it. With 34-12 free throw, let's be a little more aggressive with the whistle. This is how it is. This is what you lobby for these calls, right? But it's kind of annoying. Like Autumn said, I just wish, I don't know. Sometimes we want more access to athletes and coaches, and sometimes we just want the coach speak, right? Just well, you know, we got outplayed, right? We got outscored. Could you imagine? It just sounds like when you're JB Bickerstaff saying this, it's like, well, somewhere in that 88-0 run to start the third quarter, if we'd gotten 7 free throws, we would have been all right. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's the ridiculous part of it. It's like you literally scored nothing, and it's like, oh well, one guy had more free throws than an entire team. That's a you problem. That's not a Cavs problem.
Well, and that was indicative of their commitment to shut down the lane and to be tough in the paint. And that's what happens. You're going to get some fouls called. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. It was interesting. You almost wonder, as we'll pivot here to close this post game out, you almost wonder if that'll be a factor in Game 5. Now that, you know, and he mentioned it, Bickerstaff, he mentioned about Atkinson being, very vocal about, the foul discrepancy and the foul calls there. And now it seems like JB and Detroit's upset with how the calls are going. We wonder if that'll be a factor in Game 5. But it brings me to this discussion and this final question here for both of you. We'll start with you, Autumn. What is going to be the key or maybe keys to a Game 5 victory in Detroit for the Cleveland Cavaliers so they can get up 3-2, come back to Cleveland, and look for a closeout victory to go to their first Eastern Conference Finals since 2018? The first Eastern Conference Finals in the 2000s without LeBron James.
Well, yeah, think about this. It'll be the first Eastern Conference without LeBron James, right? First, not first ever. I don't think.
Not ever. Nope.
No, not ever.
No. They had those 90s teams that were cooking, but
I'm like, LeBron has literally warped so much of my life that I'm like, did our team exist before him? I'm like, huh? I'm like, our team existed before him, right? No, I think the keys, but first I'm gonna say this. I'm always right. You guys know this. I'm always right. I've been right about everything with the Cavs this postseason. I'm always right. And one of the biggest things that I think is the key is getting either Evan Mobley or Jared Allen involved. That is always your biggest key in victories. We saw in Game 7 against Toronto, it was Jared Allen. We saw this game, it was Evan Mobley. We know Donovan and James have to step up. Donovan and James have stepped up over the last couple games, but we know they have to be better. But you have to have a third, and it has to be either Mobley or Allen or both. If I could get a game where all 4 of them are just hitting on all cylinders and they're just playing the game the right way, we would win an NBA championship. We would be literally unstoppable. But I think because of the way they played on the road, because of the uncertainty, you got to get at least a Jared Allen game, or you get another Evan Mobley game. And of course, Donovan and James. And then, of course, like we said, a role player game as well. You've had the shooter games. Max Strus has stepped up. Dean Wade has stepped up. Sam Merrill has stepped up. You got to have the Donovan and James have to be hitting. Mobley and Allen have to be hitting, and a role player. That's the key to your victory right there. And of course, the foul calls.
Yeah,
of course too. Like JB said, because that was the difference.
Yeah,
we'll keep an eye on that. Very good points there. It's going to be interesting to keep an eye on that core four, or as Kyle Cornell from Unfiltered, which you can catch 5 to 6 p.m. here on weekdays on the Inside Edge Network. He calls it the core three, and then Harden Island. So that's what we have going on. Chad, what are your keys to victory? I know you have a big notepad usually, and you pull it out. You got the bifocals on. Do you have your stuff ready to go? Thank you. Yes,
my notepad right there.
Yes.
I lost my bifocal. Wait, hold on. No,
do you have them?
No, I don't.
All right.
That's not true. No, actually I have very good vision. Where are you guys? Are you in front of me?
Okay.
No, the thing is, turnovers. They still turn the ball over quite a few times. 13 turnovers is quite a bit. It's lower, right, than we've seen, so it felt better. But still, this is the playoffs. You have to make the most of every possession. Possessions are like gold, right? You can't toss them away. They're going to have to get, because listen, as good as they were tonight, and they were really good, especially in the second half, they still got outscored in the paint 50-34 by the Pistons. Okay. And to Autumn's point, they're going to have to get Evan Mobley going down low. They're going to have to get Jared Allen going down low. As much as the Pistons are kind of like, they're blocking the lane, they're kind of clogging the lane on Donovan Mitchell. There's got to be something there's got to be something open, right? For you lofted up to Jared Allen. He's got to be ready. He's got to be back there and ready to kind of bump loose a little bit, right? Doesn't have to be like these spectacular alley-oops. Just get it over that initial defense. When they kind of sag on Mitchell, find Allen behind there. I mean, if you got to like bounce pass through people's leg, I don't care, man. Find Allen and Mobley down low. I mean, there's got to be somebody's got to be open down there. Because that actually terrifies me. I mean, looking at it, as good as they were outscored 50-34 in the paint. Again, take care of the basketball, and they're going to have to score in the low post. They're going to have to get somebody to hit some threes. It's going to have to be Sam Merrill, Dean Wade, Max Strus. One of the role players are going to have a game where they go 6 of 9, 7 of 10, or whatever from the 3-point line, and really fill it up for a quarter and hold it down when Mitchell and Harden, maybe aren't at their best.
Yeah, those are great points from both of you. I'll leave it with this. My keys to a Game 5 victory are shutting down Duncan Robinson and Jalen Duren.
Yes.
If those two get off to a hot start like they do in Detroit, and they did in Detroit those first 2 games, could be a long night for the Cavaliers. Duncan Robinson.
Can I ask you a question really quickly, Eli? I'm sorry. At what point did we start talking about Duncan Robinson's mustache?
Let's see if we get to Game 7. At Game 7, if we have a Game 7, we can.
Hold on, let me look it up.
Okay.
Let me look it up. Let me look it up.
I had a friend of mine text me tonight and said his daughter said it looks like it's loading. Like
the mustache?
Yeah.
Is loading?
Still loading. It's not there yet.
Oh no. Oh no.
You mean that shadow, that thing I got a thicker mustache than him. I don't know what's going on.
I thought he took a sip of chocolate milk and maybe got some little remnants on. I didn't.
Well, here's the thing. If you let that guy and Jalen Duren get into Duren into the paint, and if you get Duncan Robinson shooting the lights out of the 3-ball, it could be a long day for the Cavaliers. Mustache or not for Robinson, he is pretty lethal at times, and they weren't lethal today for the Pistons against the Cavaliers. Only 4 points for Duncan Robinson. Only shot two field goals, 1 or 2 from 3. And then you look at Duren, 8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and block. I mean, he made his impact felt across the stat line, but not enough to really impact it greatly. So those 2 guys, I think, are going to be the biggest impact players. Yeah, and those are going to be the 2 biggest impact players for the Pistons. I mean, Cade Cunningham's going to get his. Tobias Harris, for the most part, is going to at least get a couple big baskets here or there. But if you can lock those 2 guys down, Jalen Duren and Duncan Robinson, I think the Cavs are coming back home with a Game 5 victory.
That's fair.
One more point. You cannot let Karis LeVert have a 24-point game. That can never happen again. That can never happen again. He got traded for a reason. He cannot have a 24-point game. If you have Karis LeVert having a 24-point game, no, we can't have that. We can't have that. Not in this series.
He was scoring like Harden in his prime, man. He was getting to the free throw line, a little 15-footer. He was knocking everything down.
It was not good. It was not good. That's a great point, Autumn. Yeah, we cannot let the guys that haven't impacted the series for most of it impact a pretty important Game 5. So it's going to be interesting. There's a ton of stats that come about Game 5 about who wins Game 5, usually wins the series, all that fun jazz. We'll keep an eye on all of that and so much more. But that is going to put a close to our Cavaliers Game 4 post game. We appreciate all you for rocking with us. Do not go anywhere. Excuse me, almost said Cavs and I, not the Cavs, but Chad and I will talk about the about some interesting stuff after the break. We'll keep that as a tease.
I'll
to
step
make sure you
aside for
stay
the
with
Cavs,
us.
man. Yeah, I'll step right aside.
Oh, I appreciate it. But you know what? I got you, pal. You're going to stick around with me. They're going to stick around with us. And, of course, at midnight run with Anthony Alford. So much to go. We have another hour and a half here with you, so don't go anywhere. We appreciate Autumn for taking some time out of her busy schedule to talk some Cavaliers with us. Make sure you check her out on Wednesdays with Christy Acuti. That is Jersey Chasers with Autumn and Christy. Wednesday, 7:30. She has given me a homework assignment, AA and I, to watch a bunch of reality TV series. And we'll announce that here. We'll have Autumn back on with Chad and I on a non-Cavaliers post-game day to give us some breakdown on why and what we should be watching. And
can we do like a Tuesday top 5 list of like reality series with Autumn? Can we do that?
Oh my God.
We got
absolutely.
it. Awesome.
100%. Please have me on a Tuesday because look, I've talked to Eli about this. I've talked to AA about this. There's a lot of stuff coming up. There's a whole bunch more that came out today. But yes, they have homework. They have a lot of homework.
All right.
I love it. I love it.
I'm in.
That is Autumn from Jersey Chasers. Again, Wednesday, 7:30. You can check her and Christy out. And you can do so by making sure you like, subscribe, follow all the great stuff at Inside Edge Net on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Of course, we're on Twitch as well, and we're branching out so much more. And of course, you can read about Autumn, Christy, Chad, and I, and everybody else here on the Inside Edge Network at InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Check out our great partners page with WEnergy.com. Or excuse me, WEnergy, SportsMemorabilia.com, AlleyRoseFragrances.com, Fanatics.com. Of course, Moss and Moment. So much great stuff here. We appreciate you. We appreciate Autumn. And Chad and I, we're going to take a quick pause to handle what we need to handle. And when we come back after station identification, a few words from our network folks and our partners, we'll come back and we'll talk some more sports action. Get you ready for Midnight Run. Back after this.
Hey guys, Kyle here from Unfiltered. What a show today. Talked about Sherwin-Williams, obviously opening, finally the ribbon cutting. That downtown new HQ, awesome building. Go take a look at it if you get a chance at some point soon. Sight to see. We talked about the Browns, their quarterback situation, and the Cavs. Are they going to get the job done tonight? We're going to break down what to do next with the Cavs if they don't, or if they do, how good is that series going to look going back to Detroit in Game 5? All that coming up tomorrow on Unfiltered with Kyle Cornell here on the Inside Edge Network. I will see you then. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, guess what? We have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Use the QR code on your screen right now to check out InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com.
And welcome into Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network, a very abbreviated version of Inside Edge Primetime following our Cavs Game 4 post-game reaction as they defeat the Detroit Pistons 112-103. They're moving back to Detroit to take on the Pistons in Game 5, try to go up 3-2 in the series. But until then, you know the drill. Chad, Bryan, am I right? Which, of course, ladies and gentlemen, means if you're right. And I'm Eli Moon. We are rocking and rolling back in the saddle. We are here with you to talk just for a segment before we hand the baton off to AA Anthony Alford, who I'm sure can handle it. He was once a track star. So with that being said, of course, we'll talk to you about some NBA draft lottery before we dive into that here for about 10 or 15 minutes before handing the baton off. I want to remind you to like, subscribe, follow all of that great stuff at Inside Edge Net here, of course. If you're watching on X, do that there. On YouTube, do it there. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch, all that great stuff. Go follow all the great stuff at Inside Edge Net. And, of course, check out the website, InsideEdgeNetwork.com. The QR code above Chad's head takes you to the partners page where you can go check out W Energy, Monster Moments. You can check out SportsMemorabilia.com, Fanatics.com, and AlleyRoseFragrances.com. So much great stuff here on the Inside Edge Network. Of course, you've heard AA mention, and he'll mention on Midnight Run, Omega Video Marketing, some other great stuff as well. We appreciate all of our partners here on the Inside Edge Network. We appreciate you for choosing us as Cleveland's digital leader, your source for sports, entertainment, mental health conversation, news, and everything in between. All right, Chad, got to get into this, pal. Before I had to bring this up to you because we only have a few minutes, and I thought this was the craziest thing ever. We talk about the Cavaliers, and we talked about the first-round draft picks, traded to the Jazz, and talk about, blunders. We've talked about in football with the Browns trading and the blunders, the first-round picks with the Deshaun Watson trade. I don't know if there's been a bigger blunder in recent memory, and we'll see what the Clippers do with the pick. But now the Pacers and the Clippers had a NBA trade deadline move. And in the move, the Pistons, my golly. The Pacers traded off Benedict Mathurin. They traded off their 2029 first-round pick unprotected. They traded off this year's first-round pick unprotected, were the main big pieces in that trade. And Ivica Zubac, the Clipper center, was a pretty good center, not bad. He'll impact the team. I don't know if it won an NBA championship, that type of move, but he'll impact the team. He was sent over to the Pacers. Now, the Pacers lost Miles Turner, so they were looking to regroup at center, missing Tyrese Halliburton, that is, for the entire year. So they're looking to regroup, get after it. no way that this would happen where the Clippers would get their pick. And I believe it was, if I'm recalling correctly, top 3 protected, I believe, for the Pacers. So no way the Clippers would get this pick this year. Well, then the NBA draft lottery happened and the pick fell to the 5th pick, and the Los Angeles Clippers now own that pick on top of getting Benedict Mathurin, who's a pretty good rotation piece for the Clippers. And they also have the 2029 first rounder. So in just 3 years, they'll have another first rounder from the Pacers. So, Chad, I mean, this was pretty bad, pal. I don't even know what question to ask you, except, I mean, it's just like a statement. This was pretty bad. And Kevin Pritchard, the GM, I believe, for the Pacers, he spoke, and I believe he also runs, the basketball ops there as well. He spoke on, hey, we're going to take, we thought we'd have luck go our way, paraphrasing, and, we were willing to take a risk. We like Zubac. We like where our core is at. And we're okay with it. We don't regret making the trade. Should they regret making this trade?
I don't know. I mean, hindsight's always 2020. We'll see in a few years, right? Like if they recoup someone in free agency, then no one's gonna remember, right? I mean, it's kind of a blunder. It makes you wonder where Paul DePodesta is these days, right? Like where he's hanging out and where he's giving advice, but whatever. Felt like an Andrew Barry thing, felt like a huge gamble, right? Didn't work out. We know that feeling. We've watched that play out here in front of us. Different sport, but same type of thing. You lose a bunch of first round picks, and it's kind of a loaded draft too, man. Boy, that top 5 pick would have been really nice to have, and in this upcoming draft. You don't normally say that about the NBA draft. Usually, if you're not in the top 3 or 4, I mean, okay, you might find a superstar somewhere, But I mean, the NBA draft is odd to me. Like I've seen 16-year-olds from Spain get drafted with like the number 7 pick overall, right? It blows my mind. It's like, well, the team has his rights. If he blossoms into something, you just use the 7th overall pick on that. That's wild to me, but whatever. It's a different sport, right? Different kind of a thing. But this is kind of a loaded draft, and at least, I mean, they got 5 games of, I don't know, about 11.5 points, 7 rebounds a game. That's pretty good. Great. We'll see.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll see in the future. Listen, if they recoup, if they make a big free agent signing and Tyrese Halliburton comes back and they get to the finals again or whatever, then no one's even going to remember. No one's even going to talk about this, right? But if they don't, if this is like where the Pacers kind of fall off and everything kind of flatlines for them, just as far as their window goes, their opportunity to win, then yeah, this could be a huge deal going forward. But time will tell.
Time will tell. That is the ultimate factor. You are right, my bro. But I will say this is a very loaded NBA draft.
It is.
I've been keeping an eye on this NBA draft. It's one of those where it's like, man, I wish the Cavs could pull a Thunder move and just keep getting first-round lottery picks. And they ended up, I think, with the 12th overall pick again. So the Thunder, and I told Papa Moon this yesterday. I said, look, they're in the position where they don't need a superstar, need to even find a starter. They could draft somebody that's just good enough to be the 8th best guy on their team, and they'll be happy with the 12th overall pick. And that's an embarrassment of riches. But that's a different discussion. For the Clippers, obviously AJ DeBanza out of BYU, potentially Cameron Boozer out of Duke, Darren Peterson out of Kansas. Those are the big, discussion points in the guys that are going to be the number 1 pick potentially. But the Clippers could wind up with maybe Caleb Wilson. They could end up with Darius Acuff out of Arkansas. Could end up with a few different guys. I believe Caleb Wilson out of UNC. So, some interesting pieces. And I don't think they're going to be missing Zubac, all due respect to him, but don't think they're going to be missing Ivica Zubac come, a month from now or so, June, so I think that's going to be interesting. And it could really reshape the Clippers' future. We were literally talking 3-4 months ago, back in January, February, about how the Clippers are kind of in a stuck zone where it's Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, big contracts, don't know what to do. And now they kind of reshaped a little bit. Darius Garland, obviously a Cavalier now over there. They have the number 5 overall draft pick, so they could get Darius Acuff, Caleb Wilson, one of these guys, whoever, with that top 5 pick, on top of having, some other guys that have stood out for them in Los Angeles, and Benedict Mathurin being a nice rotation piece as well. So the Clippers may be out of cap hell and also may be in a position where they compete for a stronger seed next year in the playoffs. I mean, that's, Kyle Cornell mentioned on Unfiltered about the Washington Wizards. Now, they may be a problem because they did acquire the number 1 overall pick, and it didn't look like AJ DeBanza was too thrilled about it. We'll see if he goes to Washington or whatever happens. But they could end up with Trae Young, Anthony Davis, and whoever the number 1 overall pick is could end up with a very quick rise back to, relevancy and here in the Eastern Conference. Same thing with the Clippers with that number 5 overall pick and what they've already acquired. And so we'll keep an eye on all of that. It's going to be interesting. I just thought it was hilarious. I just thought it was absolutely hilarious that the Pacers, Kevin Pritchard had to come out and be like, look, man, we don't regret it. I mean, what else are you going to say?
Yeah, this is franchise altering. We're looking to sell the team now. The owners have told, what are you going to say? Like, of course you're going to say you don't regret the pick. But by the way, speaking of the NBA draft, keep an eye on the Bulls, man. The Bulls have 4-15. I'm looking at the Hawks. They have 8-19. And what we've already said is a pretty deep draft. I mean, there's guys that, could go all the way into the second round that might come in and make a little bit of an impact. So all of a sudden the East, which was already kind of like a little muddled at the top, could get a little more, you never know. These teams make the right picks. And if things pan out, you never know, man. You never really know.
Absolutely. We'll keep an eye on all of that. Again, this is a little abbreviated version of Inside Edge Primetime. We'll be back. Yes. We'll be back with you tomorrow, Tuesday.
Yeah, whoa, yeah.
Top 5. Whoa.
Well, okay, listen. So when we started the show, I was like, what did we talk about last night? And I thought it was Tuesday as well. So I can't blame you there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Easy, pal. Easy. Yeah, we'll be back with you tomorrow, Tuesday, 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock here on the Inside Edge Network. Make sure you follow Inside Edge Net, like, subscribe, follow, all that great stuff. And, of course, again, check out the website, InsideEdgeNetwork.com. But we're with you. Of course, Unfiltered with Kyle Cornell leads in with 5 to 6 p.m. Some great news talk, current events, some sports discussion, all around great time with Kyle Cornell. And then, of course, Chad and I, again, with you weeknights, 10 to 11 p.m. And then I believe I hear the coffee brewing. Do you hear? Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, it's definitely brewing. Yep. So, that means Midnight Run with Anthony Alford will be coming up very shortly at midnight, right at the top of the hour. Of course, he'll be with you in weeknights, midnight to 1 a.m. with some unhinged sports talk and behavior at a time and an hour you need it at. I mean, I try to calm him down sometimes. Like, I'll text him on the side like, hey, dude, chill out a little bit. And he doesn't even – he actually puts his phone on DND, do not disturb, during the show. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Does he ever take you off it? Because I think I'm permanently on DND.
Well, so you have to send a request.
Messages back, like call me back later, and I'm like, I texted you, bro. What does that even mean?
You got to send a message, like an email. You got to send an email and request it. Yeah, he's a busy guy.
I get it.
All right, Chad, I got to ask you one important question before we pivot to our final thoughts here on an abbreviated version of the show. It's been, we were with the folks here for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But of course, a lot of that was Cavaliers, and we are happy. We're in good spirits. It could, as Double A said earlier in his, heard him in the promo talk about tonight's show, getting you ready for tonight's show. He said, "Are we going to be celebrating? Or are we going to be getting ready for a funeral?" And Double A, wherever you're listening, no funeral yet. We are going to be celebrating. So hopefully you're smiling.
We'll keep the cab skit nice and closed.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
That didn't work.
Okay. No. Okay. All right, Chad, I got a question for you. Did you mow your grass?
No. Are you kidding me? No. I need galoshes or something I can't walk on my grass. I can't swim that well, man. I don't trust myself. There's like rushing water going through my yard. I can't. Makes me nervous, man. I don't know. I have to get the scissors out. It's gonna take a long time, Eli.
We got to start Operation Get Chad's grass cut.
Yeah, I need. Well, it's not even like I have the capability to do it. I just need someone. I need to. You know what I need to do? I need to call Matt Wentz, and I need to put in a delivery order for like wind, sunshine, and warm temperatures, and no rain. No, I don't know anything. Nothing to drink. Please. Keep the drinks off my yard. I need it to dry. It's got to dry. I'm getting to the point where I can't see over the grass, man. It's like pretty tall.
Not great. Well, I'll tell you this. Talking about haircuts and grass cuts and all that stuff. Oh, well, not haircuts, but we'll talk about haircuts now.
Hey, we're segueing into it. That's what we're doing.
Yes, we will. Yeah. We will. I said earlier, and we got a few minutes here at the end, so I'll let everybody know. If you missed earlier show on Filter with Kyle Cornell, we talked about a bet.
Are we putting Eli Moon wigs on the website? Is that what we're doing? Or is that not it?
That would be amazing. I'd love that, but we might not need him anymore because I made a bet with Kyle Cornell. He's been asking to cut my hair. And I said, all right, here's the deal. We have until the end of May. And everybody out there listening, you have until the end of May. I'm going to put the website up here, InsideEdgeNetwork.com. On that website, our website here, InsideEdgeNetwork.com, you can go check out a mug, a hat, a polo, a shirt, so much great stuff. Jackets, all the great stuff.
One of each of those things.
Yes. We actually do have multiple of those. And I hope everybody out there listening can grab one of those. Because if we get 10 purchases, that's 10 complete sales. I'm going to have Double A and Pete track this. If we get 10 complete sales, just boom, somebody purchased a mug, boom, and don't be shy, grab a mug and grab a hat, whatever, but whatever you grab. If we get 10 completed sales by the end of May, I'll let Kyle Cornell give me a haircut. Now, it's not going to be anything wacky. I'm not saying he can give me like a reverse mohawk or anything crazy, all right? But, but I'm going to get like a hard part or like, a nice fade or something because my hair grows back pretty fast. But that's by the end of May. Because he called me out on Unfiltered Day for being a liar because I didn't get my haircut this weekend after a busy weekend. So
my goodness,
I know, me a liar of all things. InsideEdgeNetwork.com. If you get 10 purchases by the end of May, yeah, by the end of May, 10 purchases, and I'll have Kyle Cornell cut my hair. We'll stream it live on the Inside Edge Network, and we'll get after it. So
there you go.
Gonna be very exciting. Chad, before we get out of here, before we hand the baton off to Double A, because
hurry up, I gotta go order 10 polos. What do you need?
Yes. No, wait, hold on. Before we get any further, I said,
is that not how that works?
Kyle. I said the same thing to Kyle earlier because he's put a big smile like the Grinch when I started saying this. I go, and let me just be clear, you cannot be all 10 purchases.
Oh, I can't. Okay, all right.
Yes. And actually, I think I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to put more of a factor out there. It can't be any of the Inside Edge Network talent.
Knew you were going to say that. All right, that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. As much as I want you guys to obviously get your stuff, it can't be Inside Edge Network talent. It has to be any of the fine folks out there watching. So if you're enjoying the content, you want to see Eli Moon get a nice haircut right before the summertime, you know what to do. Go buy some great Inside Edge Net merchandise. All right, Chad, you know what happens? It's getting, what time is it? Oh my goodness, 11:58. With that happening here on the East Coast, right when it gets to midnight on the East Coast, everything starts changing wonky around here. In 30 seconds or less, can you give me your final thoughts here on this Monday edition of Inside Edge Primetime?
30 seconds or less. Yeah, listen, Cavs tied up the series. We feel pretty good. We saw our superstars do some things, right? James Harden got off to a good start. Donovan Mitchell finished it out. Huge third quarter from Mitchell. I thought we saw some better things. We saw some defensive intensity. I have my notes, busy hands. That's one thing I saw from the Cavs. They were in the passing lanes. There was effort. There was intensity. There was desire to win, right? Now I just want to see that on the road. And it's not that I don't believe in this team. I just want to see it before I'll actually go all in and say, yes, I believe this team can win on the road. I want them to prove it to me. So let's see it in game 5.
Absolutely. I love it. I will take my final thoughts and say again, happy Mother's Day, belated to all the fantastic mothers out there, the great mothers. We couldn't do it without you. Moms make the world go round. And we truly appreciate you. Thank you to, personally, thank you to Mama Moon. For being such a great mom to me, Maddie, my sister, my brother Austin, and a great Gigi to Max and Arrow. We appreciate you. And thanks to Maddie, my sister, who is a fantastic mom to those I just mentioned, Max and Arrow, her son and daughter. We appreciate you. It makes me so happy. First off, being raised by my mama to the man I am today, her and Papa Moon helping raise me into who I am. And I'm grateful for that. And two of my best friends and my sister, I am just so beyond proud of her. To tell me, if you would have told me while we were, young kids, 12 and 10, that my sister was going to become one of the best moms in the world, then I said, you're right, because I believe in her. But to see it come to fruition, I am blessed. So awesome. That is going to do it for us here on Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network, because, Chad, we've overstayed our welcome. You know what happens. Yep. It starts changing. Everything starts turning into, okay.
Background's going to go away. There it goes.
Okay. Oh, my goodness. All right, ladies and gentlemen. The coffee machine is brewing. This is Inside Edge Primetime here on Inside Edge Network. That's Chad Bryan to my right. You're right. I'm Eli Moon. After station identification, you'll hear a few words from our partners, and then you'll hear the music that everybody knows and loves. It'll be time for Midnight Run with Anthony Alford for some unhinged behavior to take you to the end of the evening, all the way to 1 a.m. But Chad, go get some rest, buddy. You deserved it. I'll see you tomorrow.
I got to run.
All right, go run. Of course, you stay here if you're listening at home or wherever you may be. Anthony Alford coming up right after a few words from our sponsors.
Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to sportsmemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. Sportsmemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Discover our collection of body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Handcrafted with natural essential oils and clean ingredients, they offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances. Perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you or your special someone. Courtesy of Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers, use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
Hey, didn't I tell everybody to stay cool, stay calm, stay collective? I know I did. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Welcome on in, everybody. It is 12:03 on a Monday night, Tuesday morning, May 12th. And hold on, let me get a sip here. It's tea time, folks. We're back in it. We back up. We back up, ladies and gentlemen. We got JB Bickerstaff complaining, bitching, and moaning about calls. We back up. Let's go. Let's go. We got Eli lying about getting a haircut. We back up, folks. We back up. Oh, man. I sent the long email to my team. We're back up, folks. Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, just when I thought the world was turning in a way that it shouldn't be turning, balance has been restored. We're on our way to game 5 to get our asses kicked, and then game 6 will be. I shouldn't speak that into existence. That's bad of me. Welcome to Midnight Run. I'm Anthony Alford here with you until 1, and somehow, some way, we have a tied series. I mean, the twists and turns of the NBA playoffs are unreal. There's a reason why the NBA playoffs is the best postseason in all of sports on a year-to-year basis. You know, the World Cup doesn't happen every single year. It's only every 4 years, so we're not including the World Cup. But here's what I find interesting. Because everybody low managed the regular season, nobody plays fully during the regular season, it feels like a lot of these matchups across the board in the NBA playoffs are completely fresh. And you see the final, by the way, Cavaliers 112-103 victory. It should have been like 112-90. Boy, oh boy. I mean, when you pull the starters with a minute to go and like, oh man, we can coast to victory. And the Pistons want to play hard, and our second and third stringers said, oh, here you go. Here you go. Merry Christmas. Here you go. Here's a basket. Here's a basket. I think Oprah was on our team in the last minute of the game, and we had to put the starters back in. It was all man. But we won. But things to look after. But I think because a lot of teams don't play their full lineups in the regular season that much anymore, it feels like a lot of these matchups. I'm not even just talking about team versus team. I'm talking about matchup versus matchup, player versus player matchup. It almost seems fresh across the board because people, teams don't play each other that often at full strength. And I think in a way, that's why you're seeing certain teams respond the way that they have responded throughout these playoffs. There's a lot of what I would term irregularities in these playoffs. You got you got Philadelphia coming back from a 3-1 deficit against Boston. I think a lot of us would have rather seen a Celtics-Knicks second round series than a Knicks-Sixers series in the second half. There's other things that's going on. Detroit, they had to come back from a 3-1 deficit. And then you look at the Cavs. Cavaliers can't win a game on the road in the playoffs, but they've won every home game. I had the stat. It went away, but there are two teams in league history that started the playoffs 6-0 at home and 0 for 5 on the road. Those two teams, the 2008 Boston Celtics, and I believe the other one was the 2004 Miami Heat. And Miami flamed out in the second round. Boston won the NBA title in 2008. So who knows what could happen and where things can go from here. But I bring that all up to say, boy, momentum means everything, right? Donovan Mitchell had, in the first half, he was pitiful in the first half. Pitiful in the first half. Only coming away with 4 points. I believe 2 of those were from free throws. He was, from a scoring standpoint, not good. Not good at all. And for the exception of an early run with Cleveland, Detroit, it looked like they were pretty much on their way. This night was going to be very different. It was going to end very differently based on the first half. And then the second half happened. 22-0 run to start the second half. I can't tell you the amount of times, even during the LeBron James Cavaliers time period, both times, where I've heard insert head coach here talk about how much we struggled coming out of halftime. We've talked about that for years. Whether it was Mike Brown, David Blatt, Ty Lue, Paul Silas, the late great Paul Silas, whomever. We are struggling to come out of the gates and coming out of halftime. 22 straight points to start the third quarter. And then Donovan Mitchell in the third quarter had 21 points. He finished the game with 43 points. He had 39 second half points. Donovan Mitchell tied, let's see if you guys know this name at home, Eric Sleepy Floyd. Eric Sleepy Floyd. His playoff record for the most points in a half. Out of curiosity, Eric Sleepy Floyd, great name, played for Golden State and for the Houston Rockets. So there you go. Amazing. James Harden also had 24 points, 11 assists. Something that blew my mind tonight. I didn't know Karis LeVert was a superstar in this league. I had no idea. 24 points. Boy, if he could have did that here, that would have been amazing. But it's the twists and turns of the playoffs. Nothing comes perfect. Nothing comes easy. The one thing you do have to give credit, at least here at home, you do have to give credit that the mental toughness here at home has improved. Now, on the road, different story. We'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. But first, we do have some post-game sound. I'm going to start with Bickerstaff. You heard it earlier with Autumn, Eli, and Chad. A JB Bickerstaff series does not start until JB Bickerstaff complains about the officiating. So this is courtesy of ESPN. Let's hit that for you right now.
Obviously to help ourselves, and I'll start there. But, ever since we came to Cleveland, the whistle has changed. There's no way that one guy on their team shoots more free throws than our team. We're not a settle team. We're not a jump shooting team. We drive the ball, attack the paint. So what was done out there tonight, it's frustrating. But, we can't allow that to be the reason why, because we didn't play well enough and play to the best of our capabilities. But again, you look at the foul count, you look at the disparity, and that's hard to overcome. And you wonder, the reason why. It's interesting, since Kenny made his comments publicly about, us, the whistle's changed in this series.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. And again, I'm not going to slander JB Bickerstaff. We know what it is. You're not going to get a hot take. Nothing different from me. JB Bickerstaff, great developer, building toughness, things like that. But if you put a camera on JB Bickerstaff over a course of any NBA game, preseason, regular season, postseason, G League tournament, in-season tournament, Shannon Sharp tournament, doesn't matter. He's riding the officials. It doesn't matter. He's riding the officials. Lakers in 5. Sorry. That's not going to happen. It happened in the last series. Should have used it there. But, it sets the stage for what's going to happen in Detroit. But that's Bickerstaff for you. It is what it is. And again, our post-game show, men and women did a great job covering that. On to Kenny Atkinson. We got 2 cuts for you. First off, Kenny Atkinson 0-1. Just in general, what happened second half. And as soon as Eli has that ready to go, we'll play it for you. And we have it ready. Go ahead, Eli.
It was a halftime speech, of course. Absolutely not. We thought we were playing good basketball, right? We're had a deficit, but we thought we were in a good place. I think the switch was we had to play with more pace. We were getting the ball up so slow. They were getting their defense set, and that was the big thing we hit them with at halftime. We got to get the ball up quicker. If their defense is set, they're a great half-court defense team. And I think, Donovan started to get in the open court. That's when he's at his best. I thought that was key.
And courtesy of RealCavsFans.com, their account has been pulling a lot of our post-game, a lot of the Cavaliers post-game sound. Whoever runs that account, thank you. You are a godsend. Thank you for pulling that clip. And the second clip we'll play for you from Kenny Atkinson, and not just with the second half, but in particular, the message from, towards the starters, what changed in the second half.
I thought Dean Wade took his defense to another level. I don't know what the stats say. I don't know, but to have a 6'9" body that can just lean on Cade and make things difficult. I thought that was key. I thought James came out really aggressive. So those 2 bookends. And I thought Evan Mobley was phenomenal. I mean, he was just blocking everything, getting steals, blocking it. He was, that was a defensive player of the year right there. He was great in the paint. So I think those 3 things, with Don struggling, kind of sparked that first unit.
I do have to point out something. Just Detroit left Sam Merrill open a lot, and he missed a lot. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to be an every game type of situation, and shooters find their, you keep shooting, find your way back into the game. But yeah, there's an observation. Donovan Mitchell. Tracy McGrady made a great point on the NBC broadcast at halftime, and Mello, the entire studio team. NBC does a phenomenal job with basketball. They just They get it. They actually show the entire downtown area, not just the arena. Like they had a shot of the flats, like the East Bank of the Flats. Mello and Tracy McGrady made a great point. So Maria Taylor asked, all right, Donovan Mitchell only has 4 points. What do you do? What do you do? And Melo's like, keep shooting. But like, and they both added, find your way to the free throw line. And because you just need to see one shot go through the basket. Just one shot go through the basket. And that finally happened. And it led to a legendary, almost record setting. Actually, it is record setting. He tied Sleepy Floyd, Donovan Mitchell, in the second half. The biggest question we got to quickly address when we come back from break, though, why are the Cavs this good at home? But then when they go on the road, whether it's Detroit, Michigan, or Strongsville, Ohio, what goes on with this team on the road? What's going on? We got to address that coming up in just a little bit. The home Cavs versus the road Cavs. I guess the bigger question, and I didn't put this in the rundown, but I'm going to add it right now. The series is tied, but where is your confidence level with the Cavaliers winning this series? Where's your confidence level? We'll talk about that. I'll actually bring Eli in for that conversation coming up next segment. Also, unless things turn around tonight, LeBron, his season with the Lakers is going to end. Could this be LeBron's final game? And if it is his final game, was this Laker run a failure? Ooh, that cuts pretty deep. We'll talk about that coming up. Also, this football schedule release comes your way this Thursday. We got a programming announcement on that coming up during this hour. But NFL says the Cleveland Browns have the easiest schedule this year. Are you bullish on the Cleveland Browns? We'll talk about all that coming up. This is Midnight Run. I'm Anthony Alford, here with you until 1. My producer's the Golden Child, the Ace, Eli Moon. And we're back right after this.
Monster Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by InsideEdge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife, Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at monstermomentsphotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. monstermomentsphotography.com, a proud sponsor of the InsideEdge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Hey guys, Kyle here from Unfiltered. What a show today. Talked about Sherwin-Williams, obviously opening, finally the ribbon cutting. That downtown new HQ, awesome building. Go take a look at it if you get a chance some point soon. Sight to see. We talked about the Browns, their quarterback situation, and the Cavs. Are they going to get the job done tonight? We're going to break down what to do next with the Cavs if they don't, or if they do, how good is that series going to look going back to Detroit in Game 5? All that coming up tomorrow on Unfiltered with Kyle Cornell here on the Inside Edge Network. I will see you then. Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
Welcome back to the show. Here with you until 1. Anthony Alford here with you. My producer's Eli Moon, who you'll hear from in just a moment. He's also the co-host of InsideEdge Primetime with Chad, Bryan. Again, like and subscribe at InsideEdge Net on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or X, TikTok, and Instagram. Also, we're on TikTok. Yes, we're on TikTok. We're also on Twitch on there as well. I might actually update that banner just to say we're on Twitch as well. InsideEdgeNetwork.com to check us out. We have an updated programming schedule, and it's updating because coming up on Thursday, I'm going to set up a programming announcement to tell you about a programming announcement. Thursday, we will be on the air. Actually, I believe Thursday, I'm thinking about this aloud here. We're going to be on the air from 5 o'clock all the way to 1 a.m. We're going to have Unfiltered. We're going to have Voice of the Land, Commissioner's Couch. And then at 8 o'clock, we will have the NFL Schedule Release Show here on the Inside Edge Network. The Inside Edge NFL Schedule Release Show from 8 to 10 right here on the Inside Edge Network. Eli, Chad, my guys, Omar, and TK will be guiding you through the 2026 Cleveland Browns schedule, along with other NFL scheduling happenings, plus other good news and things like that. That's Thursday night. Inside Edge Primetime at 10, and then a special 2-hour edition of Midnight Run starting at 11 o'clock right here on the Inside Edge Network. So live programming Thursday night, starting at 5 o'clock when Unfiltered, all the way through a special 2-hour edition of Midnight Run. And you want to stay tuned because during the schedule release show, we will have a major we'll have actually 2 programming announcements. One involving a return of one program, and another involving the debut of a new 5-day-a-week show that we will have here on the Inside Edge Network. That is all to come on Thursday. Now, Eli Moon. Question for you as you can come on the screen, because this might be my midnight therapy session. By the way, Midnight Conversations, very popular. A lot of people effing love that segment from last week. Myself, Eli, and Omar. We're going to try to do that Midnight Conversations every Wednesday, but we're going to actually do it tomorrow because the Cavs play on Wednesday. So we want to give it the respectable amount of time because you need some time with Midnight Conversations.
Oh, yeah.
But Eli, all right, I'm gonna just lay it out here, and then I'll get your response.
Mhm.
If I rate it between a 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, confidence level in the Cavaliers winning the series, I'm gonna say a 3.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 3 because I do not trust them on the road. I just don't. I know. Listen, they did what they needed to do because had they have lost tonight, series would be over on Wednesday. Like 3-1, that's it. Same story from previous years. That would have been it. So you only have to win one game as of now, one game in Detroit. But my confidence level in that happening, I have a tough time seeing it. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's Cleveland. There's talent-wise, there's always a chance, but my confidence level is at a 3.
I'm gonna go 5.5 that they win this series. 5.5 because I do hear you. I am 1,000% with you. They have not won on the road yet this postseason, so and they got to win on the road. So you add those two things up, you'd be like, okay, how are they going to do this? But the one thing that stands out is Donovan Mitchell almost like awoke like tonight. Like he is awakened. He is ready to rock. 43 points for Donovan tonight, and a lot of them 39, I believe, in the second half. So, I mean, that was a crazy game. 11 assists for James Harden. You would hope they can carry this momentum into game 5, and you don't have to go play a game 7 in Detroit. So I'll say 5.5 right now because they're carrying all the momentum after 2 wins. It's kind of like the adverse effect, right? Or like the reverse effect. You know, we were feeling mighty high after the first 2 against Toronto, and then they came back after losing 2 in Toronto, and it's like, can they do it? You know, but the good news is they had home court. This is like the opposite effect. You know, they lost 2 in Detroit, and you're like, and then they came back and won 2 in Cleveland, and a lot of people are like, okay. And now it's like, can they win in Detroit? But I think the momentum from these guys, Harden, Mitchell, if they can at least get some performances out of the role players, and that's what it's going to come down to. They didn't really even play that well tonight. But if they can get some performances out of the role players, they can win game 5 in Detroit. But I say 5.5 because they could easily go to Detroit and have another 10-point loss. And now we're coming back just hoping they can claw their way to a game 7.
I think the key, though, and thank you, Eli. I think the key, yes, the role players do have to show up. Our superstars have to show up on the road, and that's been an issue in Detroit. Our superstars not showing up. Now, again, I will give the Cavaliers credit. Where they were after game 2, I have never felt more at the Donovan Mitchell era. I never felt more at a rock bottom type of situation than we were after game 2. After game 2, there was a chance I would have got kicked out of this place because of noise complaints and everything like that. I think back to James Harden. I mentioned this to TK after the game 3 post game. I have never heard local media, national media, local fans, national fans talk badly about a superstar player like James Harden like we did. And all of it was deserved. I'm not going to come on here and say, oh, you should talk better about James Harden. F no. All that was deserved. Okay. Evan Mobley, same thing. I said, and I'll stand by it until, win this series, and then I'll change my mind, even though he had a pretty good game, really good game, actually, tonight. I said Evan Mobley had the second worst contract in Cleveland sports behind Deshaun Watson. Play and perform and win the series, and that changes my mind about that. And most importantly, you're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I thought Eli, Chad, and Autumn had a great conversation. Like, just because the Knicks are there, like, we should not just send the ticket to the NBA Finals for the New York Knicks. Like, I think a lot of rest in that fashion. I don't know if it's a good thing. You want that momentum. And whoever's coming out of Cavs Pistons, because whoever wins this series, this will not be a fluke. It's not going to be a fluke. It's not going to be this happens. So they want whoever wins this series is going to come in with momentum, even if it goes 7. If you win game 6 or game 7, you're coming in to that Eastern Conference Finals, even if it's Cleveland, because nobody's going to pick. If it's Cavs versus Knicks, nobody nationally is going to pick Cleveland. Everyone's going to pick the Knicks. But the Cavaliers can go in and potentially steal one, but they have to prove it on the road. Donovan Mitchell, Dean Wade, Evan Mobley, James Harden, they got to do it on the road. Jared Allen, I think, has been really good since game 6 of the first round against Toronto, but that has to translate on the road. But that game comes your way Wednesday. We do not have a time yet, by the way, for Wednesday's game. It will actually depend on if there's a game 5 of OKC and the Los Angeles Lakers. They're making us a game right now, so we're not going to know until later on tonight how that schedule is going to turn out. But whenever the game happens, when the game concludes, Eli Moon, Chad, Bryan, and I believe Kyle Cornell will have post-game coverage for game 5. Game 6 might be modified a little bit because I realized I made a scheduling error a little bit. But you guys don't need to know all the behind the scenes, all the behind the curtain stuff. Oh, hell, I'll tell you. It might be a combo mic check InsideEdge Primetime post game for game 6. And then Midnight Run will be on after. So we'll see. I didn't realize how late these games started. That was my thing. I know a lot of people complain about the 8 o'clock start time with this Cavs game. And I get it. In the first round, a lot of these games started at 7 o'clock. 7 or maybe 7:30. But 8 o'clock, I will admit, did get a workout in and didn't have to shorten my workout, so that's good. Made dinner. I was pissed about the beginning of the game, though, because the Cavaliers, I think it was 18-11 the way the game started. And then as soon as I sat down to eat, the Cavs, during the entire time I was eating dinner, did not score one single basket. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. So that's coming up in just a little bit. So we'll have all that for you. LeBron's playing it close in the Cavs. Or I'm sorry, the Cavs. Wow. Old habits. Wow. Oh, my goodness, that happened. The Lakers are playing it close. They've made this close, so we'll push the LeBron topic to tomorrow because it doesn't make sense because the game's actually pretty close. So we'll push that over to tomorrow. Let me bring this up about the one little quick update on the baseball team. It feels like I'm handing them $20 because of all the stuff that's been going on with with all the other sports. A lot of my Cleveland Guardians consumption has actually been through the radio, but it was pretty encouraging to see the Guardians. I believe in the 3rd inning, 5 runs, and then they have 7 overall here. So don't worry, we're gonna have more Guardians coverage coming up over these next couple of days, few days, few weeks and stuff. But coming into today, the Cleveland Guardians, first place in the AL Central at 500. You gotta love it. And don't look now, because what I like to do in mid-May, I know ultimately with baseball, you don't take anything seriously in terms of standings until Memorial Day. That's usually the good time where, Memorial Day is usually the good time where you're like, okay, we need to look at the standings. Let me make sure I got this right, because I checked it yesterday, the baseball standings. And I may actually ask for Eli's input because he's more in tune with the rest of baseball than I am currently. Let me see. Is it still true? Is it still? It is. Eli, do you know who's leading the American League West right now? The American League West in baseball. You know who's leading that division currently? It's not Seattle. It for sure isn't Houston. The Houston cheating bandits. Oh, I'm sorry, the Astros. They're 10 games under 500.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I'm quite shocked who's leading the West. Quite shocked.
It is the don't name the city Athletics.
Yeah, they're athletic. They don't have a city. They're just athletic. They do the athletics. It's crazy. It's crazy. You know, you would think after the Guardians mopped them, you know, if you didn't watch any other athletic baseball, you would think, okay, they're terrible because, you know, 14 runs. I think another 7-run game for the Guardians against the Astros, against the Athletics a few weeks ago. Just interesting. But yeah, 21-19, the Athletics are on top. 20-22 is the Mariners. So, I mean, they're the only team above 500. And, you know, I do want to give credit, speaking of the Mariners, to my primetime co-host, Chad Bryan, because he mentioned before the season that he thought, you know, when we talk about the Guardians getting ready to play the Mariners to open the season, that Cal Raleigh would have a regression to the means. Didn't think he'd be at below 200 and have less than 10 home runs, but here we are. So I think it's just interesting, you know, the baseball season shaping out Double A. You know, I know we'll dive more into it, but, you know, you look at even the Rays in the East. The Rays are 27-13. They are whooping ass in the AL East right now. I mean, this is an interest. Just in the AL alone is interesting. Double A. I mean, you go to the National League, it's kind of like the standard for the most part. But I mean, the AL could be very wide open.
Okay, you know what? F it. We just came up with a new segment off the dome here. We can hold off on the Browns to the next segment. Questions about baseball with Eli. I have questions, just based on the standings. Why are the Chicago White Sox in second place in the AL Central?
I couldn't answer that, to be honest. I think they've gotten more out of their pitching than they would expect they would have to begin the year. I mean, they're playing really well. I mean, I guess at home. I mean, they're 6-4. I mean, not even really well. I guess they're 500 at home. It's just they're hanging tough. Double A. You know, you look at some of these games. Their pitching is really keeping them in a lot of games. You know, you look at it against some of these wins, even the losses. Nationals 2-1 on April 26th. They lost. You look at some of these wins: 5-2, 3-2. You know, you look at a 4-0 win. You know, you look 6-0. You know, you look at some of these wins. I think they just had a lot of success with their pitching. The bats have woken up in the right time, and for a team that traded Luis Robert at the beginning or in the offseason, you would not have imagined this.
Let's go to the Boston Red Sox. Boston Red Sox. I'm just recycling stories for that. That's like 3 weeks old, but the Red Sox one's interesting. They're dead last. When you think of Boston Red Sox baseball as a casual, you think, oh, they're around. They're postseason contention every single year. I believe this is like their 5th consecutive bad season.
Yeah.
And they're on the road a few weeks back, I believe in Baltimore. And they let go of their manager.
Yeah.
While on the road. I've never seen this before.
Yeah, most of their coaching staff, I mean, they're pretty much cleaned house. Alex Cora gone, and I mean, here's the reality of the situation. You can only coach so much. And we talk about Kenny Atkinson with the Cavs when they're struggling. It's like you can only coach so much. Then a dog's got to be a dog, and it doesn't seem like the Red Sox have a lot of dogs. They've also made a few errors. You know, they let Rafael Devers go, and he's has his own issues going on right now. You know, his velocity, I believe, off the bat is not even that strong as it was 3-4 years ago. But let him walk, you know, or traded off of him. And then Alex Bregman. You know, they were supposed to keep on the Alex Bregman, and they didn't do that. Now, I believe he's playing in Chicago, if I'm thinking correctly, the Cubs. So, I mean, they just made a few critical errors, and they haven't been the same. You know, long gone are the David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez days.
Yeah, long gone. You work with Chad every day. You guys talk. What's his confidence level on the Atlanta Braves winning the championship?
We'll have to ask that tomorrow. I'll ask him tomorrow because, you know, if you asked him before the season, he was very doom and gloom on the Braves. Their pitching.
Apparently the whole lineup was going to get injured by Memorial Day.
Yeah. Pitching staff was already on the IL pretty much. You know, he didn't have the guys. Acuna's not batting that well. Jerks and Profar with the suspension for the PEDs for, I believe, half the year, which he's still serving, obviously, because we're not halfway through the year yet. But yeah, I texted Chad the other day. I said, bro, You are so wrong about your Braves. Where's your confidence? So we'll ask him tomorrow where he is on championship level. But as far as division, I mean, yeah, they're kicking ass right now. And Papa Moon and Chad always go at it. Braves and Guardians.
Oh, they do.
Oh, they go at it. They go at it. Pregame. Sometimes Chad and I can't even go over most of our pregame because Papa Moon's yelling at Chad through my headphones about, hey, listen, I know the Braves are doing well, but we'll see you in October. All right, we'll see you in October. So maybe we'll see them in October. They are a tough team.
One last baseball question before we break. Obviously my favorite team. We're here in Cleveland, so the Cleveland Guardians, Indians. I'll tell you this briefly. I'm getting changed at Planet Fitness like a month ago.
Yeah.
And the game was up on the TV. It was the game. And some dude walks in. Well, as you see the Cleveland Indians, it's like, oh yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, they did pretty well. Guardians got the W. Well, the Indians did a great. We're not doing this. All right. My second favorite team in baseball has always been the Cincinnati Reds. My old college roommate, that was his favorite baseball team. Cincinnati just has a, if you believe in the rule of, you can have a secondary team, but they have to be in a different league. No conflict with your main team. My choice is the Cincinnati Reds. Tell me why they're over 500. They're 22-19. And they're in last place in the NL Central.
Yeah, because that division's very good, Double-A. I mean, nobody expected the Pirates to play as well as they did. Chad and I have had discussions about Paul Skeens, and if he stays with the Pirates, they just paid Connor Griffin, their top prospect, shortstop, 19 years old. Will they pay Paul Skeens? Do they have the money to pay Paul Skeens? We'll keep an eye on that, but playing pretty good baseball will keep him there. The problem for the Pirates, same the problem for the Reds. They're at 22-19, and they're 4th and 5th in division because the Cubs are playing lights out baseball, and they're getting the most out of their starting rotation. You see the Brewers, they were obviously the top team in the NL division, record-wise. I mean, everybody knows the Dodgers, but the Brewers were the top team in the NL record-wise last year. So they're playing good ball right now. And then you look at some of these teams, you look at the Cardinals, Jordan Walker, these guys are just really hitting the cover off the baseball. So that leads to Pirates. And then, of course, your buddy and your second favorite team, the Reds, sitting there wondering what they have to do to get into a postseason berth. I mean, there's a lot of time left. I will say this. What? Yeah, you got a division winner and you got a couple wild card teams. I think the 2 wild card teams are both going to come from that division, the NL Central.
Oh, it has to.
Yeah.
I think it has to. Now, which 2 is up in the air? It's anybody's guess. They're all great teams, all of them. And I'm sure all of them are saying right now, Cincinnati's like, and Terry Francona, I'm sure he's saying, boy, the darn old AL Central. Wish we could have been there. You'll never hear us on this show talk about realignment because I kind of like flirting with 500 and winning the division.
Yep. No, I agree. I agree.
All right,
and
go ahead.
Oh, and real quick, we had a comment coming in for Broadview Bo 3939. Just sharing the sentiments. Double go Cavs, and they sent us some good wishes here with the Inside Edge Network, and they also mentioned that Kirk Herbstreit, former Buckeye, was on UCSS today. And said the Reds couldn't hit. So maybe some more answers for you about the Reds and why they are where they're at right now.
Can I say something real quick about that?
Sure can. It's your show.
Thanks. Oh, yeah. Usually it's the opposite about the Reds. Usually they can't pitch.
Yeah.
They can put up 8, 9, 10 runs a game. And then they can't. And then they give up 9, 10 runs a game. But those days are gone.
Yeah.
Wow. Herbie, a huge Cincinnati Reds fan there. So, all right. I feel, sometimes, we got playoff basketball. We always talk about the Browns. Stick around for the next segment. And sometimes stuff going on with the Guardians and the world of baseball. It gets lost in the shuffle, but we'll find our way, of course, to get baseball talk in there as well. Coming up next. We talked about it before. The NFL schedule will be released later this week. You're going to see leaks for some games. No Browns game has been leaked just yet. But the NFL put out a tweet today that could provide some encouragement if you're a Browns fan. My final segment to go. Anthony Alford here with you. This is Midnight Run, live and direct every night at midnight on the Inside Edge Network.
Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, guess what? We have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Use the QR code on your screen right now to check out InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
Want to remind you guys to check out Omega Video Marketing. Omega Video Marketing. It's a place you need to be if you are a content creator, a business decision maker. You got an event coming up this summer. Megan Gallagher, 4-time Emmy Award-winning producer, has you covered. Omega Video Marketing. And what's cool about it, getting your event in front of new sets of eyes, getting your business ideas in front of new sets of eyes, decision makers, all that in play. Give Megan, reach out to her through email, meganrg440@gmail.com. That's meganrg440@gmail.com. That's Megan Gallagher, 4-time Emmy Award winner with Omega Video Marketing. Magic Johnson weighed in on Cavaliers and Pistons. Had a lot of insight on the series and where it's heading. Magic Johnson tweeted just an hour ago. He retweeted the final score. Again, Cavaliers, a winner over the Detroit Pistons, 112-103 to tie the series at 2 games apiece. And the Hall of Famer Magic Johnson said here, tweeted, after 2 straight losses, the Pistons will have to make some major adjustments in Game 5 back at home. Ladies and gentlemen, the great words of Earvin Magic Johnson. High-level insight from the GOAT, one of the GOATs. Again, I'll repeat that in case you missed it. Again, from Magic Johnson. After 2 straight losses, the Pistons will have to make some major adjustments in Game 5 back at home. The first person said, this is the spiciest Magic post ever. How about that? How about, I'm sorry. We'll talk Browns in 2 seconds. Come on now. Are you guys starving for Browns content? Let me see. Let's, oh boy, we're going to have fun with this. Cavs superstar Donovan Mitchell tied an NBA postseason record for most points in a single half by scoring 39 points. 21 of those were in the third quarter alone. He was unstoppable, finishing with 43 points, and the Cavs win tonight to tie the series. See what else he says here. First career 3-run homer for Andy. From May 5th, replying to the OKC Thunder 108-90 victory over the Lakers. This is May 5th, so probably game 1 or game 2. Probably game 1. I must say, the Lakers defended well tonight. They just couldn't generate enough offense against the world champs. Tweets from Magic Johnson. All right, last one. My Lakers have an uphill battle going against the reigning world champion OKC and SGA, who in my mind was the MVP of the first round of the playoffs. To beat OKC, we have to find a way to not turn the ball over as much as we did against the Rockets and play great on both ends of the Showmore floor. So who's going to step up and provide scoring to help LeBron and Austin? One thing we all know is OKC can score the basketball. So the Lakers are going to have to play some of their best basketball. I'm so excited about the second round of the NBA playoffs starting tonight with the Sixers and the Knicks. Magic Johnson on Twitter. AI couldn't do it any better. Speaking of Twitter, the NFL has promoted their schedule release coming up on Thursday. Thursday, 8 o'clock, we will have live coverage right here on the Inside Edge Network. Thursday at 8 o'clock, part of 8 hours of live programming on Thursday night here on the Inside Edge Network. And part of their schedule release, they released a strength of schedule rankings of opponents' win total. Now, at the highest, the toughest schedule, the Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. Again, something to be mindful of. If you're putting down bets on championship odds, be on the lookout. The Chicago Bears, a little bit of a tough schedule. In fact, according to the NFL, according to the league, they have the toughest schedule in the NFL based on opponents. But at the bottom, at the very bottom, the easiest schedule, according to the National Football League, based off of last year's standings, the Cleveland Browns. Followed by the Saints, followed by the Bengals, and the Colts. So much so that our buddy, our friend from 92.3, Mac Robinson, tweeted or retweeted that post. And he said here, I keep telling everyone that the Browns' schedule in 2026 offers them a chance to surprise teams this season, and is part of the reason why I'm very bullish on this team this season. Now, the question, I think the organization's, how can I piss off my producer with 30 seconds left in the show? Here's how. The organization sees the strength of schedule and says Deshaun Watson can win with that schedule. All right, we are done with the show. I'm not even going to give him a chance to respond to that comment. We're done with the show, folks. Cavs are back in it. I have no idea how, but it's the playoffs. Play every other day. Give yourself a chance. Give yourself an opportunity. 2-2. It's now a best of 3. Winner of the series goes on to the Eastern Conference Finals, where we all want to be. And believe it or not, this is where this team aspired to be. This was the expectation, was to get past the second round. They have 3 opportunities to break that second round window ceiling and get to the conference finals. Can they do it? We'll be with you the entire way. For Eli Moon and our entire team, AA Anthony Alford signing off. Again, remember to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you're watching us on YouTube. Get all of our alerts at InsideEdge Net. At InsideEdge Net. If you like our channel, thanks to all the comments. Subscribe to our channel. We really, really appreciate it. And thank you for it. Also, check out our website, InsideEdgeNetwork.com, where we have a merch store. It is fantastic. A lot of great stuff. And you get to see our partners. I have 2 mini candles of Alley Rose Fragrance candles on its way here. One for the living room, one for the bedroom. It's going to be great. All right. Have a good one. Remember, tomorrow, we're back with you at midnight. Our popular segment, Midnight Conversations, returns tomorrow. Myself, Eli, and Omar. We'll have it for you tomorrow. Right here. All right. It's 1 o'clock. I don't have anything special to tell you guys. Everybody else has these fancy closings. My closing, go to bed.